Hi, everyone. Okay, so I have my smoking jacket on, and I don't smoke. It is, you know, Linz calls this my Hugh Hefner night robe, house coat. I can't even talk. Anyways, I ended up back in the hospital again tonight, and I was there for many, many hours. I've had complications all my life, right? So anyways, ended up back there, and I had the neatest experience while I was there. I looked over, and there was an elderly woman in the corner, and she had the most beautiful woman taking care of her. And I didn't really think it was a daughter, but she was acting like a daughter would, and she was, fanning her because it was a little warm. And I thought, she's not hot, she's actually cold. And then 3 seconds later, she goes, I'm cold. And so the woman put a blanket on her. And as I was watching her, all of a sudden it lit up all the way around her. And I thought, gosh, I haven't seen this. I've had a lot of family members pass in my presence, and I can see that light. And so I got to see the light. And, well, fast forward a little bit. As I was being released for the night, anyways, I have to go back and get a lot of tests. Well, not a lot, but I have to go back and get some tests. I don't want to exaggerate. So, anyways, as I was leaving, the woman that was taking care, the like daughter type figure, she came back, and she had been gone for a couple of hours. And while she was gone, that light kind of disappeared. And, the woman was really struggling. Older woman. She probably was in her 80s, I would say, and very frail. But her nails were done beautifully. I was looking at her nails thinking, her nails are really nice. Like, funny how you think of these things. Anyways, the woman that was a caregiver came back. And just as I was leaving, I said, I wanted to let you know, because I kept hearing inside, go tell the older woman, how beautiful she is, tell her that she is linda, lindish. Lindish, I think it is, beautiful in Portuguese. And I was all hooked up with IVs and tests and stuff, and so I couldn't. But as I was leaving, the woman was finally resting. Couldn't really go over and see her at that point, but I did see the caretaker. And I said, I want to let you know that you are doing such a beautiful job taking care of. She's not your mother. She goes, no, she's my godmother. But she lost her 25-year-old daughter and 37-year-old son, or 34-year-old son, um, all within the last short period of time. And she's really struggling. And I'm struggling, she said, being her caregiver, because she's been like a mom, and it's very tough. And I said, oh, let me give you a hug. And so we hugged, and I said, I need to let you know I see things, and I can see angels all around her. She is a beautiful soul. And she goes, she really is. She's been through so much. And I said, I see that. Well, she's got a beautiful light about her, and it's all going to be all right. And she goes, oh, and I'm struggling so. And I said, you're doing what you need to do. Oh, just being here is so wonderful. So well done. And gave her another hug, and she started to cry and teared up a bit, and it meant a lot. Anyways, we go back out. My kids are with me, and we go back out into, the front entrance of emergency, and you have to pay, right? It's not much. You pay a little bit of money. And, sorry, chest pains. Oh, yoy. So as I'm out there, I was having really hard chest pain, so I went and sat down. And there was a young man sitting opposite me, and handsome kid, and his father, I believe, uncle maybe, was with him. And they were detached. They were one seat apart from each other. And the father figure, he was kind of looking off, and he didn't speak any English. But the kid, he just was looking down in his own world, and just, you could see something was on his mind. And lo and behold, there's friggin' more angels around him. And I'm like, really? More angels? Look at them all. And they were surrounding him. And I could hear, Spirit say, you got to tell him that he's got angels. He's surrounded by angels. And I was like, oh, really? Here we go again. So anyways, I talked to the young man and I said, excuse me, do you speak English? Você fala English? And he said, yeah. And he barely make eye contact with me. And I should be laying down, but I can't lay down. As soon as I lay down, it's so painful. So anyways, I said to him, I see stuff and I can see angels around. Are you having a hard time? Actually, I started off with that. I said, are you having a hard time? Like, your soul hurts. And he just about teared up. You could see he was right on the edge, and he goes, yeah. I said, you're having a hard time, aren't you, honey? He goes, yeah. And I said, I need to let you know I see things and you have angels all around you. And he looked up at me, and it was like I gave him the greatest gift. I said, they're lifting you up. They're holding your heart. They're holding you up. So don't you worry. It's all going to work out in the end. It's all going to work out. Okay? And he felt good. And then I realized, so is this why you brought me into the hospital today? To see all these angels and to give the message and to give hugs? And as I sat there, I thought, might be something to do, to help people. Just hang out in emergency and see the angels, tell people. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. I wanted to share it with you. And I had to cancel the appointments this week and next week. I'm just in a lot of discomfort. I'm sure it's not serious. So I'm good. So let's put out some prayers, shall we, for that family, the woman. Her heart was breaking and losing her kids. And I thought her goddaughter, we'll put a prayer out for them. And then also this beautiful young kid. He was the most handsomest, he's African American. He had the most beautiful chocolate skin, just really beautiful complexion. He was such a beautiful soul and just in such sorrow. So lift him up in your prayers, will you? Okay? And that's it. I had another revelation, which I will go into tomorrow. I am going to go and try and lay down again. But in the meantime, the revelation, I'll give you a little hint. Gavin Newsome and Trump, I was watching them and I was thinking, this is too orchestrated between the two of them. Something going on. And then I thought, I actually heard the voice. And the voice said, do you remember Gavin Newsome was married to Trump's daughter-in-law? So Trump was actually Gavin Newsome's kid's granddad by marriage. And so I looked it up. She wasn't actually married to Eric. I think it was Eric that she was dating. I don't know. One of the Trump sons. But what a history. We'll go into that tomorrow. You might want to look it up yourself. Something going on there. And the other thing that I saw, I've been seeing things so much. The other thing I saw was Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC, um, Nunavut, Northwest Territories as we knew it, but they all are looking at separating in Canada and becoming the 51st to 57th state or something like that. Anyways, I was thinking there's something about this, and I've mentioned it a couple times. Sorry. I think deals have been made to dismantle Canada. Trudeau was the first when he came back from visiting Trump, and he prorogued the government. He shut the government down. And then it was just raped and pillaged after that, How many of our MPs became multi-millionaires in this last 48 months, 24 months, 48 months, something like that. So I was looking into it energetically, and I saw deals being made. And with some politicians, like I believe that they've been made with Doug Ford, with Mark Carney. They've done everything to piss off the West. Central Canada, the western provinces, northern territories, all of it. And why would they relish in creating so much havoc and understanding that it's probably going to bring the whole country apart? I think he's going to be paid one heck of a bonus, Mr. Carney, is when all of this happens, because it's a passive war. It is a passive land grab. And I think we're playing right into it. So rather than tearing Canada apart, I think we just need to kick out the government and start over again. I mean, literally, kick out Carney and his crew. All the Liberals are the NDP. They're all in cahoots with one another. Even the Bloc members, lots of the Bloc were. Even the Conservatives, what am I saying? Every MP, you think about right from 2020, they didn't participate. So, I think we need to revamp the Canadian government and try and keep the country together, because I don't know if it's going to be necessarily better. I think Alberta alone would be probably the richest country other than Monaco if we were to separate, in Saudi Arabia, But yeah, I think being Canadian is a really wonderful thing. And we have a lot of positives being Canadian. And I think we should think twice about playing into... I think we're being played, right, by the politicians. I think the whole plan is to dismember all the members of Parliament, right? Dismember Canada. Can't speak. Okay, that's it. Okay, I've talked too long. It was supposed to be a really short message about the angels in the hospital. And got me going. Much love, everyone. We'll chat soon. Bye now.